What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Sorry for the late upload. What's going on? There's a lot of PlayStation news, surprisingly, today. A lot of PlayStation news. So, I'm going to go ahead and speed run through a good chunk of stuff that you don't see on the tabs. There's actually a lot. So, before we get into that, obviously, got to hit you with the intro. So, I'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Let's go ahead and get into the news. Before we get into this one, there was an update for PlayStation 4. It was the update 4.78 or 4.7, something like that. It was one of those. It was a stability update, so that was available. I think it'll be available today. So if you guys got an update, there you go. There's your update. Stability. They're getting ready for the 5.0 update, so nothing major there. There was also an update that happened yesterday for the PlayStation Store. All these links will be in the description along with these. That was in the store, and basically the store will have games like Patapon, but a few VR games, some movies like Alien Covenant, and vice versa. Those are basically being added to the store. Again, it'll be in the description below so you can see. And I think that was it. I think that was it so far. So let's go ahead and get into this. Uncharted The Lost Legacy almost replaced Nadine with a classic character. A lot of people ask, where's Cutter? A lot of people ask, where's Victor? Well, it's pretty obvious. Neil Druckmann, the creative director behind this, he likes to push female characters a little bit more than the male characters. So you guys see it with the Last of Us, and you guys are seeing it here. So he wants to push female characters. It's good to see. I mean, I have no problem with female characters. I mean, Ellie's the main character in The Last of Us 2 now. Legit, you're playing as her as opposed to playing as Joel. I think Joel will be your secondary character along the journey. So obviously, I mean, it's gonna be cool to see. Or maybe they'll take turns like we did, The Last of Us last year or last generation. So maybe. So we'll see. As far as I'm concerned, though, it looks. I mean, I have no problem with that, and neither does a lot of people. So let's go ahead and get into it. When asked about it, teaming up about Cutter and all that, let's see. Okay, to be fair, when we explored the Sam and Sullivan story, grew quickly and grew bigly, but it just wasn't as compelling. At Naughty Dog, the best story wins, and at the same time, we were exploring a number of different storylines, and Chloe's was the one that we settled on. To come out with something that felt fresh and has this new tone in the Uncharted world, which was just so much more compelling at the time. That doesn't mean we won't explore Sam and Sullivan in the future with the studio. It's just that Chloe's journey as a character gave us a blank canvas to start from, and so we could do what we wanted, free of all the constraints of everything else. When asked about Cutter, he replied, "We initially explored pairing Cutter and Chloe, but we found the Nadine story more compelling. Nadine is just the perfect brew for the conflict. They're complete opposites, but they also have the same trait for self-preservation. Preservation. Naughty Dog had previously ruled out a new Uncharted game in the near future, stating the company is focusing on shipping The Lost Legacy and then working on The Last of Us Part 2. However, it hasn't ruled out Uncharted 5 being made by another developer at some point." So let me go ahead and comment on that. Obviously, Uncharted 4 was the end of Nathan's story. If they legit want to push another one, I do not want to see it made by another developer. If they are actually thinking about that, I'd rather them scrap it, move on to Jack and Daxter or something like that. Let that developer work on Jack and Daxter. Because let's be real here. We don't really need no more Uncharted, especially if this DLC right here is going to end Chloe's story. Or if they end Chloe's story in here, then we definitely don't need any more Uncharted. Now, they want to push it and go, hey, look, this one's going to set up a new game with Chloe. Okay, but again, I'd rather Naughty Dog work on that than somebody else. You know what I'm saying? It would be kind of stupid if we get a new one with not the same dev. So that's how I feel on it. I mean, I would like to see another Uncharted game, but again, I wouldn't be like, I'm not really like demanding of it, especially after Uncharted 4. Uncharted 4 was a perfect in for Nathan. I thought it was perfect. So that's how I feel on that in that regard. As far as Cutter is concerned, again, I already explained that. Neil Druckmann likes to push female characters, so it kind of made sense that Cutter wasn't in the game, and he wasn't, or is not in this DLC. He was mentioned in Uncharted 4 along with Salim and what's that dude's name? I forgot the other guy dude's name. Tenzin. So they were mentioned in the game. In either in the attic or as you continued going through the missions. They were mentioned, but again, they weren't really in the game. So I mean, so much for that. So much for that. So much for that. Let's continue. Okay. Now, you guys know Gran Turismo Sport's coming out this year for the PlayStation 4. Supposedly, it's 800p. Some people said it was 4K 60. I think I'm not mistaken. They said it was 4K 60 at E3, but then now people are saying it's 1800p or something like that, 60 frames per second. Either way, I mean, I don't really care, but it's a racing game. Racing simulators don't really appeal to me, so I'm just throwing that out there. But he said that GT Sports overspec for PS4 Pro. There would be no problem to run it at 8K on PS5. Yes, he said this game can run at 8K on the PlayStation 5. Now, before we get into these whole 8K, 6K type of arguments, you guys remember my response to the whole 6K argument with the Titanfall 2. I did my research on it. Wasn't really legit running at true 6K. It was just hitting it at some points because of the GPU. It was running it at 6K, 60 frames per second. But keep that in mind, people. That game was running on a heavily modified engine. So they were able to pull that off. And it was running on a dev kit too, by the way, not the actual console. So we got to wait till the actual console comes out before we get clarification. But as far as this is concerned, yeah, 8K, PS5, I mean, that's cool and all. That's awesome. I mean, I can guarantee the picture's going to look great. But at the same time, what is the frame rate? The frame rate is really what matters to a lot of people, especially in this generation now. Where is it 60 frames per second? Because 60 frames per second needs to be the norm. This generation should already told you that gamers want the best visual, but they also want the best performance. Everybody has said it. So 60 frames per second has to be the norm. And they also, this same dev, Yamauchi, actually, Yamauchi, he actually made a statement regarding the cars in this game beforehand. He's saying that they can be worked or ported to the PlayStation 5 easily or something like that, or they can be used for the PlayStation 5. And, that's cool and all, but again, what's the frame rate? You know what I'm saying? The frame rate needs to be 60. That's the main thing everybody wants for these next-gen consoles. We don't want 30 frames anymore. 30 frames per second has run its course. It's no longer acceptable anymore. Obviously, PCs are higher above that. They're like in the 120s, 144s, obviously, But I'm saying for a console needs to be at least 60 frames per second. I'm telling you right now, the difference between 60 and 30 is very, very noticeable. There's no denying that. So that's what I would like to say. But as far as the whole 8K on PS5, we're not there with the PS5 yet, but I wouldn't kind of rule it out. But at the same time, I'll believe it when I see it. That's the same attitude I gave towards the Titanfall. And that's how I'm going to get to the PlayStation 5 version. I'll believe it when I see it. As far as the CPUs in this thing, hopefully they would go something with a Ryzen, something like a Vega or something like that. Something good. We need something good. I would like them to go the route that Microsoft did with the Xbox One X, where they put like a legit GPU, like a legit big GPU in this thing. And, that'd be like the biggest thing in the console. But really, they need a good CPU. So they would have to put two big things in these consoles. And, a big CPU and a GPU, so that way we're set for a long time. I have no problem with them doing that. Hopefully the price wouldn't be that big. I mean, if they can bring the price to $500, Sony can justify that $500 price tag if they did that, or $540 or something like that. But really, $500 price tag, that's something they can justify. I wouldn't say $540. Now that's pushing it, but that $500 price tag, they can justify with the games that they got and they've shown they continue to get. That's what I would feel in that regard, I would feel that. That would be great. Just trying to think of anything else that I could possibly talk about in that regard. Yeah, not much, man. But yeah, like I said, the whole 8K on PS5, that sounds good on paper, but I'll believe it when I see it. And if it's 8K, hey, it better be 60, man. It better be 60 frames a second. Obviously, Spider-Man PS4 or Spider-Man's that's on the PS4 Pro is 1080p to 1440p or something like that. 30 frames per second. So, and they're using temporal injection with 4K, and you look at, and the game looks good. Obviously, it looks great. Then you have Assassin's Creed on Microsoft's end. That's 4K 30, and it's or was it no? Was it dynamic? No, it was dynamic 4K 30. I'm sorry, but something like that. It was dynamic 4K 30. It's not 60, but you know what I'm saying. These consoles need better CPUs because the game looks great. Assassin's Creed looks amazing. I would love to see seeing that at 60 frames per second. I would love to see that. So, better luck next generation for all of us. Hopefully, all sides gets this. Hopefully. And the last article for today: PS4 sales have likely peaked, says Sony. PS4 could have reached its peak sales point, says Sony, after sales dropped compared to its last to this time's last year. I checked out the latest report. So let's go down. Let's see. Trying to read this. Okay, here we go. Excuse me. The Electronic Giants Deputy President and Chief Financial Officer, Kenichiro Yoshida, observed that every console generation sees a point where hardware and software sales reach their peak. He went on to suggest that the PS4 reached that peak with hardware sales last year, with software expected to hit that mark in 2017. Once this happened, Yoshida-san said that Sony foresees the profit structure for the PS4 to stabilize. Sony confirmed yesterday that its flagship console has now shipped 63.3 million units worldwide, with 3.3 million having shipped during the last financial quarter. The PS4 launched in November 2013 and has to date sold over 60 million units globally. Although Microsoft has been notoriously quiet on how many Xbox Ones have arrived in consumers' hands during the time frame, nonetheless, Sony has made it clear that latest home console is outperforming its lead rival by a substantial margin. Earlier this year, it said that the PS4 is outselling the Xbox One by a massive 3-1 in Europe, one of the key global markets for video game sales. Things look set to shift up a gear later this year. However, with Microsoft launching fresh hardware in the shape of the high-end Xbox One X, Sony already has PS4 Pro available, of course, but Microsoft console is considerably more powerful in terms of raw hardware specs. Even so, it has been discovered that the Xbox One X will still employ the same technical wizardry that the PS4 Pro. As the PS4 Pro when it comes to 4K gaming on certain titles such as Assassin's Creed Origins. So that says that. PS5 releasing due in the next few years. Looking beyond the current hardware cycle, PS5 rumors have been picking up the pace. Recently, Michael Pachter, an analyst with Woodbush Morgan Securities, reckons the console will launch in 2019 with a new Sony console likely to be considerably more powerful than the One X. So, okay. Now, as far as the sales peak, I'm gonna go ahead and say this right now. I can see where he's coming from. He said that the sales have peaked, especially now. But let's look at the heavy hitters, okay? The heavy hitters haven't really dropped, especially not this year. We got Knack 2, which is not really a big heavy hitter. It's a nice game, but it's not a heavy hitter. We got Matterfall, Everybody's Golf, and Uncharted The Lost Legacy. The Lost Legacy, again, it's a AAA game from Naughty Dog, but at the same time, it's not really like a huge Uncharted, like, you know what I'm saying? It's not like a big Uncharted release, not a heavy hitter, but it's a DLC, and everybody's looking good for that. If I'm not mistaken, we had the last Horizon Zero Dawn come out this year too, right? So Horizon Zero Dawn also. As far as those games are concerned, I mean, Horizon Zero Dawn has proved to be a great successor. Now, obviously, we're going to get a sequel to that because it sold a lot, so significantly more than Killzone, which is great for a new IP. That's great for them. But in terms of the peak, I can see where he's coming from. Let's face it, those games, they've done what they could for the console so far. But really, I wouldn't say they reached their peak until 2018, 2019 to see exactly how the sales are going to be when we get The Last of Us, when we get Spider-Man, when we get Days Gone, God of War, Detroit Become Human, you name it. You know what I'm saying? When these games hit the store, obviously Death Stranding, when these games hit the store, then that's where we can come up and say, okay, we reached our peak. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think we reached our peak just yet. We ain't reached that peak yet. So that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it for all the news I got. I don't have no much to say. I kind of dragged on a little bit, but you know me. I like to go get my point out there pretty good. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Sorry for the late upload. You guys be good. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I will see you guys later. And shout out to all you who subscribe to King Thrash. Appreciate you. Glad you guys like his content. So good to see how I can help him out a bit. But thank you guys again, and I'll see you guys later. You guys be good. Deuces.